A couple of deer down here crossing the river. There they go. We'll look for a place to ford across here. Okay. Just walk across the bar here. Now this bar is actually old tailings from multiple mines located out here. Yesterday when we found the flume, we found a place to cross over here where they'd channeled. And be careful about rattlesnakes this time of year. Going through here. I've got a backpack on full of stuff, water and supplies. Okay, this was the channel they cut. And it looks muddy, but it's actually rock lined. It's solid down there. Okay. Let's go ahead and right over here. Here. Okay. Yeah, we're across. Now you want to walk down the flume or around the mountain here?
Actually, I think we better go right on over to it.
To the flume?
Yep, and then walk it.
All right.
Here. This bank's over.
Got a heck of a climb here.
Might be easier to hit that on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah. The shortest way to the flume's right here. We're at 8,400 feet. So the earth's kind of thin. There's the flume, and it just stretches over for a long way.
And there's our marker from yesterday.
Okay. So we're going to walk up opposite the direction the water was flowing. It was flowing from this direction, which is north. Take a break. Now we're walking along the top of the flume. And what they were doing, they were channeling water into a big long tom that they used to make this big bar down here, the long Tom Sluice box. And of course the big nuggets, they would drop out first, so if we can find the source material up here, we get a decent shot with these metal detectors of locating a nugget bed. Now, as you got to the end of the long tom, you got the little fine gold would drop out finally. And that's what you find on that bar down there is fines. This is a tremendous amount of work they did in the 1800s here. This is all by hand, digging this trench on the side of the mountain. And I think we're gonna have to walk around all this stuff here.
Hey, be careful.
Yep.
Yeah. Take a look at this. It might be easier to go around it.
Think so? Let's look at this plane down here. Okay, they took a hard turn right through here.
Yeah.
Right through here. This whole game trail's going right up to the flume. Right here.
Yeah, right here's where they were right here's where they were hydraulic.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at just a second ago. Right at hydraulic bank right here, where they took water pressure and they sprayed the banks. Then they take the then they take that, channel it through the flume. The flume would take it to a long Tom Sluice box. And that's what they used to make that big bar out there. And that's a beaver dam right there. Whoa. Now up on that hill, way up on the top there is where we're camped out. They were definitely taking the material out right back in this area. It's where they were getting it. And we'll scan that with the metal detectors. We'll take and walk right around up through here. Fire up the metal detector in a minute and scan this hillside. And he's going way to the top up there and take a GPS reading on those rocks. Old square head nail right there. That's an oldie. I'm going to take and fire up this infinium here and see what we can find. I'm bringing the coil back to where I hear a tone. So it's right under that spoke on the coil, the back spoke. I'll take and dig that out. Let's see what it is. There it is. Oh, look at that. It's an awl. Old awl. Huh. And the old timers left. With that, they'd poke a hole in something to drive a nail. See, they'd hammer on this end, poke a hole with that end. Probably came from up above here. Larry's found the bench where they were hydraulicing, so we're going to walk right on up there. Do you think they were hydraulicing up here and they began the flume up in this area?
Yeah, there's a rock lid.
Hey, there's a spike. Isn't that a spike right there?
No.
No, that's a... You know, they probably came off the face of this rock with that flume.
For the flume going there, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the part going downstream for that gravel bench,
Yeah.
came off right over here. You'll see it, and it's a beautiful shot down here to the creek.
Yeah.
From up in here.
We're closing in on... God, we got to be closing in on 9,000 feet.
I can tell you in a second because I just went up to it.
Man, the air is really thinning out quick. Not only that, it's heating up.
Yeah, right on the top of where these rocks are,
Yeah.
that's actually a bench. That's at the top where they were actually hydraulicing last.
Okay. Well, let's go up to it. All right. Wow. And we're going up here on almost a 60-degree angle. Coming up.
Walk right over here. See what I'm talking about. Set this stuff down here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, take a breather.
Yeah, right directly across is our
Here we go.
campsite.
This is our mining camp as we set up for the 2005 Wyoming expedition. And then moving on over, this is Matt's tent. This is another view back from camp toward the road. And of course our famous cook shack.
This week we will see slightly cooler weather. Otherwise, pretty much partly cloudy conditions are seen through next Thursday. Look for a high in the low to mid-90s today, a low tonight around 60. A high in the low 90s on Thursday, and upper 80s to low 90s on Friday. Weather on Saturday, every 30 minutes on News Radio 600 KPON. We're looking for an unbeatable deal. $200 on a 2005 Focus. Going camping, get $4,900 off a
Packet to my belt. Now we just take care of it nicely.
What we're doing this morning, we're going down to look for the source material that the old timers were chipping out. In a long tom setup we found that they were evidently using about the mid-1880s or so. And we're going right along that hill there where they had a huge flume set up to run the long tom. And we'll walk around the bottom of Douglas Creek down here near the town of Keystone. Which I'll show you in a minute. We're going right over the hill. We'll be down there walking along that ridge line on the opposite bank. On the side of this hill here. Down into the road. That's where we'll be going, is that far edge. We'll be walking all along the bank up here looking for where the source material was for the long tom.
Right here, Matt. If you look at this rock formation, the way they had this,
Yeah.
I think this is where they started that gravel bar right down there.
Yeah. Could very well be.
Yeah.
Because you got the round rock
Yep.
starting down there.
And see where they had like the little dam going across there.
Well, now that's not dam, that's beaver dam.
Right.
So.
But I mean, see where the dam is. It's like right, that's the beginning of that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Those tailings.
I agree with that. Because upriver here, you got the little small stuff.
Yeah.
Just the little pebbles.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
We kind of got that figured out.
I think we're over 9,000 feet.
Yeah.
And if you look at this, right here, the way this is laid, right at the base of them rocks, this is where they were working that hydraulic hose right
Now,
here.
did you find any square lumber up there?
No.
Okay.
And we wouldn't, because there's where the hoses are hidden. But I did find notched timber.
Okay, Larry, what kind of altitude we got here?
8,674 feet.
Okay. Still got to climb way up there. I don't know what those mountain climbers pack, but I guarantee it's not a bunch of metal detectors.
You only get about 20 feet and you have to stop.
Yeah. Whoa.
See, Matt?
Yeah.
There's one of them. Right here.
Yeah,
They
that's...
not, see where they notched it?
Yeah. Notched it and squared.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man. Just a few more feet. I'll walk on up here to this old cabin. Look at that, some mine. What he do is hand crank his concentrates up from the mine shaft down there.
Right here, you can see what I'm talking about. Matt,
Yeah.
where they were hydraulicing.
Well, this is definitely the material they were working on.
Yeah.
This big mound. You know, and I bet if we walk down the back side of this, right over in here, we'd come to the old town of Keystone.
I'll bet you would.
Yeah.
You're on top right now.
Yeah. This was the diggings
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
What we're doing here is we're taking a look with a mini microscope of what the old timers were digging out here. There's pyrite, gold. We've got some garnet in here. I'll let you take a look at it. You notice anything about this hill?
Yeah. It's a definite dome.
Yep.
Spikes right up.
They've got a cut in it over here. There's something else about this hill. Look at all these purple flowers. They're not growing anywhere else. but on the top of this hill.
Kimberlite deposit.
Yep, could very well be kimberlite.
I'll bet you if we look around here, we'll find it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it a bit. Definite depression over there, and we got these. This is the blue flowers we're talking about, where you have kimberlite, which is another mineral deposit. It's probably under this dome, and we've got the gold on top of it. So anyway, that's what we're thinking.
It's got all the signs of it.
Yeah.
Here's part of your structure right here.
Yeah, here we got a structure here. We're just right over the hill from the buckets where we're sitting on that log. And now the question is this part of the sluice head frame, or is this the grizzly or is this an old cabin? Let's see if we find any bricks around here. If we find bricks, there's no bricks.
Well, I was looking for these with a spike in it, and I don't see that. But these are definitely part of.
Yeah, I think this is a head frame.
I think it is too. See, you've got. This was deliberately cut.
Right.
And if you take this, Matt, and you shoot this right straight down,
We're going to be on the
come
flume.
right straight on the beginning of the flume.
Right.
Right straight off of here.
Yep. So they were channeling. They might have even had a grizzly in here to grizzle off the big rocks. That was just an iron frame. And then as the material would go on down, and they'd separate the nuggets out first, and then as it went on down, finally at the very end you get your fine gold settling out that they had in the long tom going over a cliff down here, making that big long bar we walked across.
And this is definitely the head of it.
Yeah, that's the head frame.
That's definitely the head. Okay,
well now we got that figured out. We're looking around, I found an ant mound, and the ants are great because they'll bring up all kinds of materials, and you can take a look at and study. And sometimes they'll bring up a green material called chromium diopside. Let's see if I can find any of it in here. There's some crystal of it. It's an indicator material. Anything that's rough, they'll bring it up to the surface. There's some chromium diopside, that square crystal in there. It's kind of greenish. If we polish that off, we could actually make a gemstone out of that. We'll take that back and look at it under the microscope. There's some more. Continue on, see what else we see. We've got now we got the road. That probably goes to Keystone. Just following this little road. Kind of hoping it takes us to Keystone.
Yep.
And that's where it does.
It's going to take us right to it.
Yeah. This was the mercantile center over here on the hill. And across, where you see that old camp right over here, that's one of the old miners' homes over there. Right there. And there were homes scattered all along that hill on the far side.
Yeah, they just rough cut and split all this stuff in here. This actually looks like it was a feed trough back there for their animals, Matt. Because that's a bin for hay. So they must have kept their livestock in here. Maybe stayed up on top or something. That's what this was. This was an old barn. That's still got the old rolled tar paper sidings on it. I remember Grandma's old cabin down by the creek used to have stuff like that. Her old one-room cabin with a dirt floor when I was a kid. There's history right there. Buildings down below and looks like sleeping quarters up above. This may have been a hotel. Now that may have been the cold room, when it kept things cold. The root cellar room. That looks like the old gas can off that old Model T out there. The old hidden stash in the wall. And of course the pantry. I don't know how smart this is going to be, but we're going to try sneaking up these old staircase. Take a peekaboo up the upper floor. There's a hole where the old stovepipe came through. There's a tin from it. This was the old sleeping quarters room. Shot back in here. These are all hand chisel, hand axed formed boards. A little cut here and there. A little tin type between the door. Patch of rotten floors. Some more old cabins back out in here. Honey, I know you're not here, but I'm hoping by bringing all this to you, you can be here right along with me, because I feel like you are. One collapsed there in the back. Well, now this one was pretty dang well fancy. It had the old aluminum or linoleum floor in it. Of course, the old patchwork nail them down on the floor of tin. Very simple, very basic. Just old beams. Got light poles. An old cross member. Cupboards were pretty basic back then. All they were just boards and shell nailed up in a corner. This old miner shack's got a lot of character here. Because if you look at this, right above this old rig that was flipped upside down, that's an old stash pocket where the miners used to stash their goods up above the bears, so the bears couldn't get to it. And that's what that is. It's an old stash. There's an old skid sled. They probably had some of their equipment mounted on. They drug back and forth and set up so they could work. This is that old one-room cabin, and if you look real close, right there's part of the old spring set. We're going to try to open that door and see how good we can look inside this thing. Notice the logs down underneath the foundation down there, plugged in so they didn't get under drafts and freeze. Not anybody home. Now, just old time. Old man time. And you look around the top shelf up here, that's where they put their canned goods and their veggies and their food. So it'd be out of their way. Very simple. The old hole cut in the side of the wall there for a heat pipe. Screen on a window. And an elaborate locking system. Here's the way they kept the bugs out and air conditioning in. You can see how they notched them timbers. And that's the old clay mortar between the old beams. This one actually had boards with tar paper roof. Let's take a sneak peek inside. Ceiling for the old stovepipe. And of course, the root cellar room. There's your old beams across the ceiling. One of the most important rooms, cold room, where they used to store everything from their food droop to their gold. This one was actually quite fancy because it had boards. There's been an old wallpaper over the top of it. If you notice, all they had was old heavy cardboard paper between the logs and the boards, and that was their insulation. God bless America.
We've been out here for a couple of weeks now trying to figure all this out, all these different flumes and mines and where they had the long tom set up and the whole bit. And I think we're on the right road now. We just about got it figured out. I think we're roughly opposite where we put the packs down on that field right there. Yep.
There's our arrow.
There's our arrow in the road. Yep. Now this ought to get interesting.
Good job.
Boy, that was tight.
Now that's four-wheeling.
It's amazing how good these things can get back in here. Running over wagon road, now it's a yeah, what do they call those things?
Quad trail.
Quad trail. Taking it cheap up.
Just think they used to get wagons through here.
Yeah. Of course they were
Skinny little wagons.
Probably used ox to get up this hill, don't you think?
Ox or mules?
You know, like my granddad. My granddad ran a 16 of ox back in about 1915. The reason they use an ox over a mule or a horse is the ox will put his foot down, he'll plant it there before he takes another step, and then when they get it up the hill, they'll attach it to a horse team or a mule team. So the ox moves about 1.5 miles an hour. Pull it. Okay, here comes our spot.
Great, fantastic pipes. That's exactly what we've been looking for.
Well, of course, the other stuff we found is too. Just, you know, remember it comes in darker and lighter colors. So.
Yep. Well, everything we found, everything that we've located and marked so far for target areas is just exactly what they said up there at the university was textbook stuff for prime, diamond, and anomalies.
Yep. Yeah, back to it. I've got a sluice box down here and a shovel. What we're going to do is we're going to go right down here to the point. We're going to shovel out 40 shovelfuls of material and check the quality of the material the old timers were working. Now we're only going to be working things that already went through their operations, but we'll get an idea of the quality of the ground here, and that's all we're doing. We're also looking for some indicator materials for gold. I'm really interested more in the little rocks and pebbles that end up in the sluice than I am in any gold. So we'll see how it goes. Well, we're in here for the day, and we're getting hailed on.
Well, as you can tell by the hood on the car and the ice on the windshield, we're in another thunder, lightning, and hailstorm, typical of what we've been running into up here. There goes our lightning again. Should get a blast of thunder here in a second. Hopefully you can hear it. Try to get a picture of some of this. It's been next down to low 40s and then 30s at night. High winds off and on. Hotter than blazes during the daytime. Yeah, in the 80s, mid to upper 80s, a couple times into the 90s. And then periodically we get one of these thunder lightning storms that blows in. It blew down our cook shack the other night and we had to go put it back up again. But this is typical of what we've been running into up here for the last 2 weeks or so since we've been up here. Now the rain. It's now 6 o'clock Wyoming time, and it's the 28th of June. Matt and I figured we were gonna try to be out of here today, but we're waiting on Leonard and that bunch from Wyoming to get in, and they haven't made it yet, so they'll probably be in late tonight or tomorrow. And then we'll have our little rendezvous and meeting with all of that bunch coming down of miners, and then I'll be heading home to my sweetie, and Matt's going to be heading back down to Florida again with a stop off to Louisiana and have a shrimp dinner with his cousin, he said, before he gets home. So best of trails to him and his route on his way home too. 5:21 p.m. our time, 6:29. Matt and I are just now got off the top of the mountain, crossing Lake Creek, and we're heading home. Love you, sweetie. Hey, I just wanted you to get an idea how gorgeous this really is up in here. It's just phenomenal. And the wildlife, we've seen fox, we've seen deer, we've seen elk. We've seen just about everything that you can see up here.
There's a deer.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Can't talk. That's a lead kill. I even seen one moose up here, but we didn't get a chance to get a picture of it. But we've seen some really fantastic wildlife up here. Chipmunks are so light, they just come up and put their feet on our shoes and wait for us to get something to eat. And hummingbird landed on my back shoulder one night, so it's great. We're coming up on an area that Matt and I jumped a bachelor herd the other day with about 15-20 all bulls. Last night when we came in here, there were a bunch of cows and calves off to the left side. Headed for Laramie. Of course, trip to Wyoming wouldn't be Wyoming if we don't try to get a picture or two of the antelope too. So we'll see what we can do.